we are back for day 3. We're going to focus on global hip mobility today, but we're going to sprinkle in some extra focus on anterior hip and a little bit of posterior hip too. So getting those glute max, glute medius muscles, glute minimus muscles nice and mobilized, as well as hip flexor. So let's jump right in. We're going to progress the downward hip cars, the on the ground hip cars, I should say, to a standing position. This is going to give us the opportunity to be challenged on both sides in a single leg position, but also give us a little bit of awareness as we start these exercises. It's a chance to really see how you feel side to side, see if you feel any discrepancies or differences side to side, and to note those so that we can talk about them later, maybe in our call next week, and discuss, hey, how do we get you stronger on one side versus the other? How do we get you more mobile on one side versus the other? How do we make you more symmetrical as a runner, which is only going to be beneficial in making you more functional and more powerful, and improve performance, as well as opportunities to do whatever you want in training, which would be great. So, stepping off my soapbox, we're going to get a prop today if you have one. If you don't need it. But I'm going to use a tall foam roller for a stability aid. If you don't have one of these, you can get a chair that you can tap as well. Or you can get a bar or a squat rack, just something you have near you that is nice and stable. Mine's not going to roll off on me, which is great. Don't want that. But you need something that you can touch to balance you out, because we're working on mobility. We're not working on stability right now. So we're going to take out that stability challenge mostly. So I'm going to keep the stability prop on my left side. If you're by a wall, just stand right next to a wall on your left side as we start. And I'm going to think about posture first, and then working my way down to make sure I'm in a good mechanical position before I start the exercise. So head is straight forward, shoulders are not up towards ears, they're nice and relaxed, and my ribs are not flared. So my ribs aren't coming up. I am all activated on the front side, but not overly activated. I don't want you to like grip and pull. I just want you to keep those ribs down, feel like they're connected to your pelvis. Then you're going to think about your hip being fully extended. You don't want to bend in your hip while we're doing this. No hinge. Knee is soft but almost fully extended. And then your big toe is down on the ground. It's going to be activated, but no toes are going to be digging in. But big toe does need to be activated, not flying up towards your face. Going to be down towards the ground, and your whole weight is going to be distributed across the bottom of your foot. Once we got that nice strong position, you're going to drive your knee up, and imagine that big box that we worked with before, imaginary box in the hip cars on the ground, is there again. So you're going to drive up over the box, you're going to rotate so you can lift up and over it, and then you're going to come into a fully extended position as you swing through. Drive, rotate, extend, swing. Keep going. We're going to do 5 on each side. And I want you to know, though, that a compensatory motion for this is often leaning to the side. So if I were going to accidentally, usually these are subconscious, aid my body in getting more motion, I would lean over to make it easier for my rotators and my abductors to lift up and rotate over that box. I don't want to do that. I want to maintain rigidity through my central stabilizers, oops, not fall over, and come up and over and down as much as I can. We're working within the range we have today and just gently trying to increase that. Once you get to 5, you're going to change directions. So instead of working on that hip flexion to start, we're going to extend to start, feel our glute turn on, come up and over our box, and back down. Up and over our box, from that 90-90 position, and then back down. Again, not leaning, making sure big toe on the left side is down, knee is soft, but almost straight, hip is straight, ribs are down, nice and strong posture. Once you get to 5, you're going to switch sides. Reset posture and mechanics wise before you go into your hip extension, rotation, extension, swing. Drive knee, rotate, full straight leg, swing through. Again, 5 of these, taking it segmentally to make sure you get the most out of each motion. and you go through your full mobility as you do. It's really hard to count and talk. I think that's 5. So I'm going to switch and start with extension now. Feeling my glute activated. Glute activated, lifting up and over the box, rotating down, swinging through, not leaning my torso, staying nice and strong with ribs down. My big toe is down, so my foot's nice and activated. And that's 5. You can put up your prop once you're done here, if you have it, of course. And then we're going to go onto the ground for the next one. So, I want to focus on getting some mobility through our hip adductors, so our glute med particularly, as well as our glute max and our glute minimus with a little rotation as well. So I'm going to have you take your right and place it down on the ground. It's going to be fully relaxed, chilled out for this time. And then you're going to take your hands, I'm going to have you wrap them around your knee and then pull straight back to really toward your armpit before translating your knee over to the opposite armpit. And hold there for a big breath. And then I'm going to have you take your foot, if you feel like it is comfortable today, and you're going to add a little bit of overpressure into rotation. So you're going to pull your heel up toward your opposite elbow and armpit and down toward the ground. And you should feel that stretch deepen. Unrotate, release back down. Up to chest, over to opposite armpit. Add rotation if you feel like it's comfortable to do so. One deep breath and back. If you don't want to add rotation because it just feels like the stretch is too deep, too much, stay in this cross body pull position, so the force is going across your body to your opposite armpit for 2 breaths instead of 1. And then come back down. Up, we're going to do 5 of these, and then we're going to switch sides. Cross, pull, deep breath, unrotate, down to relax, pull, cross, ankle rotation, down, down. Last one, pull, cross, ankle rotation, down, down. So opposite side. Now the left gets a little break. We're going to wrap our fingers around the right knee, pull it up to our right armpit, slide it over to our left armpit. You should automatically feel line of tension increase through the outer posterior hip. And then if you are comfortable in this position, you're going to take your ankle and rotate just slightly for overpressure through rotation as well. And take a deep breath, just letting yourself relax into that tension. And then unrotate and back down. Again, if you don't want to go into that third position, just take an extra breath after the oblique pull of your knee toward the opposite armpit. We're going to go through 5 of these. This is number 3 for me. Pull, opposite armpit, rotate, breathe. Unrotate, down, up, over, rotate, breathe, down. One more, up, over, rotate, breathe, and back down. Awesome. All right. This next exercise is a compound motion, meaning we're going to work a lot of big joints. We're going to work a lot of different motions, and it's great. It's called the world's greatest stretch. Talks big game. It is very good. So what you're going to do to start is you're going to get into a split stance position. And we usually see this demonstrated with toe down on the ground and knee elevated off the ground. I want you to start in the knee down position just to get the mobility aspect of this during the first phase of the stretch before you move on to a knee elevated position. So you're going to take your hands, you're going to place them inside the front foot. We're going to have our left foot up first. My left hand is going to be parallel to my left foot. This is different than the runner's lunge where we split the foot or use the foot to split the hands. So inside. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to get a little bit of a wider stance with your hands. You're going to bend your elbow to 90 degrees and you're going to try to sink through your hips. So sink your hips down to bring your elbow down first and then lower with your chest as far as you can go. You can see that I cannot get all the way down to the ground. This is not uncommon. If you need to bring your elbow down on the far side to get that depth, that's fine. If you just can't get that depth yet, give it time. Sometimes by 5, 8, 10 reps, we're able to get a lot more mobility and motion. So for the first of it, we're going to drop the knee, we're going to drop our elbow, and we're going to drop our parallel elbow as close as we can to the ground. You're then going to push back up into position. Take your outside hand, place it on your knee. Place it on your knee, and you're going to press out to get some rotary mobility through your hip. And then you're going to slide your right hand right underneath your shoulder and rotate through your thoracic spine and hip up to the sky, toes, fingers pointing to the sky, and then you're back down. Widen your hands, drop to your elbow, drop the opposite elbow, lowering through your hips. Breath, press up, hand goes on knee. Press out, back in, and rotate. So this is a 3-step stretch. We're working anterior hip by dropping down. Then we're pressing up, working rotators by pressing out. Then we're working our hip rotation even further, but the opposite side, and throwing in some thoracic rotary spice through the reach. So let's do 2 more of those. Down, elbow follows, press up, knee out, rotate up. 1 more. Elbow down, sink through that back hip, remember. Press up, press out, and rotate. Again, it's okay if you don't go through the full range of any of these. What's important is that you work through the maximal range your body is comfortable with today. And if you do that, that will keep progressing over time, and you'll feel better and better. Okay, so same thing here. We're going to keep our knee down on the back side. If you need to put something underneath your knee for comfort, that's totally fine. You're going to start with right hand, parallel the right foot on the inside. Your left hand's going to be a little bit wider. You're going to come into that down knee runner's lunge position, and you're going to place the right elbow, on the ground. Take your left elbow, you're going to sink through your back hip as much as you can, and try to lower through your chest to get that elbow to the ground. You're going to press up, rotate out through the hip, right hip rotation. Bring your hand underneath your shoulder, rotate up through hip and spine to get left hip rotation and spinal segment rotation all the way down. Then you're going to come back, widen stance, elbow down, elbow follows with a sink through the back hip, press up, rotation through the knee with overpressure, narrowing hand stance, and rotating. Big deep breath, and back down. Widen stance, Drop elbow, again down to the ground. As you can see, now I can reach the ground. Takes me a few reps. Pressing out through the hip, narrowing my handstands, and rotation. 2 more. Widen, elbow, elbow, back up, press out, narrow stance, rotate up. You'll also feel this through your oblique abdomen too. That's totally fine and normal. Lower, up, rotate out. This is my last one. Narrow stance, rotate your spine. And hip, of course. Whew. And back. Okay, you can come into a little child's pose if you need. It gives such like deep hip extension for me. I don't know about for you. And then adding the rotation in there. It's intense, but it's a good intense. Okay, so I want to end on a variation of pigeon pose today. Now, we start with pigeon pose by getting into a shin box position. So we've practiced this in our 90-90 exercises where we lift the back leg or switch sides. So you're going to replicate that positioning on the front leg. So you're going to get into a 90-degree angle through the front knee, through the ankle, through the hip. And then you are going to bring yourself down toward the ground as you extend out your back leg. It's going to be hard for me to show you on screen, but hopefully my brown pants help. Shout out to Rosie, who suggested the brown pants, or at least colorful pants. So some people have trouble with their top hip, keeping it down in order to get into this position. If you do, you can take a book and put it under your hip or a yoga block like I'm doing now, so that you can get into a folded position easier. Once you're in this position, yoga block or not, I want you to take your outside arm, the arm closest to your up foot, and I want you to reach out to the side. And if you need to scoot to get into a position that lengthens out your lateral line or these obliques over here, as well as your anterior and lateral hip, that's fine. Just keep scooting inch by inch. You're gonna inch over to really get that nice stretch. You're gonna reach out as far as you can and hold here for about 5 breaths. Deep breaths, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. So we're going to point out calming our central nervous system, especially because of the intensity of the stretches that we did today. And then once you're 5, we're going to unwind ourselves and switch sides. So again, coming into that 90-90 position in the front. If you need a yoga block, you can put it right underneath your tush. And you're going to fully extend through the back end, so your back side. You're going to fold over, and then I want you to take this hand and reach out to the opposite side. You should feel your lats, your inferior trap, some of your obliques, and some of your lateral anterior hip elongating. If you need a little extra depth, you're going to inch yourself over even further. But make sure you're getting a full reach with that outside hand. And you're going to relax into this stretch now. And breathe 5 times. Again, nice, long, deep breaths. Trying to reset your body, calm your nervous system. And again, jumpstart that recovery. We mentioned before, when you jumpstart the process of recovery so that you're ready for your next training session even quicker than you normally would be. Good. All right, that is what we have for today. I hope you enjoyed, and our 4th challenge will be happening soon. Have a good one, y'all.